in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. The story of the king's falling in love with a handmaiden and buying her. O my friends, hearken to this tale. In truth, it is the very marrow of our inward state. In olden time, there was a king to whom belonged the power temporal, and also the power spiritual. It chanced that one day he rode with his courtiers to the chase. On the king's highway, the king espied a handmaiden. The soul of the king was enthralled by her. Forasmuch as the bird, his soul, was fluttering in its cage, he gave money and bought the handmaiden. After he had bought her and won to his desire by divine destiny, she sickened. A certain man had an ass, but no pack saddle. As soon as he got a saddle, the wolf carried away his ass. He had a pitcher, but no water could be obtained. When he found water, the pitcher broke. The king gathered the physicians together from left and right and said to them, "The life of us both is in your hands. My life is of no account, but she is the life of my life. I am in pain and wounded. She is my remedy. Whoever heals her, that is my life, will bear away with him my treasure and pearls, large and small." They all answered him, saying, "We will hazard our lives and summon all our intelligence and put it into the common stock. Each one of us is the Messiah of a world of people. In our hands is a medicine for every pain." In their arrogance they did not say, "If God will," therefore God showed unto them the weakness of man. I mean, a case in which omission of the saving clause is due to a hardness of heart. Not the mere saying of these words, for that is a superficial circumstance. How many a one has not pronounced the saving clause, and yet his soul is in harmony with the soul of it? The more cures and remedies they applied, the more did the illness increase, and the need was not fulfilled. The sick girl became thin as a hair, while the eyes of the king flowed with tears of blood like a river. By divine destiny, oxymel produced bile, and oil of almonds was increasing the dryness. From giving, merobalan constipation resulted, relaxation ceased, and water fed the flames like naphtha. How it became manifest to the king that the physicians were unable to cure the handmaiden, and how he turned his face towards God and dreamed of a holy man. When the king saw the powerlessness of those physicians, he ran barefooted to the mosque. He entered the mosque and advanced to the mihrab to pray. The prayer carpet was bathed in the king's tears. On coming to himself out of the flood of ecstasy, fana, he opened his lips in goodly praise and laud, saying, "O thou whose least gift is the empire of the world, what shall I say, inasmuch as thou knowest the hidden thing? O thou with whom we always take refuge in our need, once again we have missed the way, but thou hast said, albeit I know thy secret, nevertheless declare it forthwith in thine outward act." When from the depths of his soul he raised a cry of supplication, the sea of bounty began to surge. Slumber overtook him in the midst of weeping. He dreamed that an old man appeared and said, "Good tidings, O king, thy prayers are granted. If tomorrow a stranger come for thee, he is from me. When he comes, he is the skilled physician. Deem him veracious, for he is trusty and true. In his remedy, behold absolute magic. In his temperament, behold the might of God." When the promised hour arrived and day broke, and the sun, rising from the east, began to burn the stars, The king was in the belvedere, expecting to see that which had been shown mysteriously. He saw a person excellent and worshipful, a sun amidst a shadow, coming from afar, like the new moon, in slenderness and radiance. He was non-existent, though existent in the form of fantasy. In the spirit, fantasy is as naught. Yet, behold a world turning on a fantasy. Their peace and their war turn on a fantasy, and their pride and their shame spring from a fantasy. But those fantasies which ensnare the saints are the reflection of the fair ones of the garden of God. In the countenance of the stranger guest was appearing that fantasy which the king beheld in his dream. The king himself, instead of the chamberlains, went forward to meet his guest from the invisible. Both were seamen who had learned to swim. The souls of both were knit together without sewing. The king said, "Thou wert my beloved, in reality not she, but in this world deed issues from deed. O thou who art to me as Mustafa, Mohammed, while I am like unto Umar, I will gird my loins to do thee service." Beseeching the Lord, who is our helper, to help us to observe self-control in all circumstances, and explaining the harmful and pernicious consequences of indiscipline. Let us implore God to help us to self-control. One who lacks self-control is deprived of the grace of the Lord. Today, we've gathered the teachings of Rumi, but remember, the most valuable lessons are always within us. Whatever path you choose, listen to your heart. In the next video, let's explore even more inner discoveries together. Stay filled with love, and see you next time.